You're not afraid of messing up. You're afraid of being seen. Because being seen also means being exposed. It means holding up under the weight of stares, expectations, compliments that feel more like disguised pressure. You say you're afraid of failing, but deep down, it's success that really freezes you. What do you do when the doors finally open? You freeze. You pull back. You go quiet. Not because you don't want it, but because deep inside, a voice whispers, "What if I'm not ready? What if I shine too bright and can't handle the weight of that light?" Some people fear the dark. You're scared of lighting up because light reveals. Light draws attention. Light demands a presence you might have learned to hide. And what if your biggest fear isn't falling, but flying too high and not knowing how to come back down? You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of shining and realizing you don't know what to do with it. Sometimes, what scares you most isn't failing. It's actually succeeding and not knowing who you are after that. Failure, as painful as it is, feels familiar. You know the path of disappointment, of saying it didn't work, of hiding after the fall. There's even a strange comfort in it, the warm numbness of expected letdowns. But success? Success drags you out of hiding. It puts you in the spotlight, on display. And you, who learned to live behind the scenes of your own life, have no idea what to do with all that light. Because being successful isn't just about achieving something. It's about having to hold it. It's dealing with envy, judgment, the pressure to do it again. It's facing the mirror and asking yourself, do I really deserve to be here? And that question hurts more than any criticism. So you self-sabotage, quietly, almost elegantly. You delay, you downplay, you avoid. Because deep down, you're scared to find out you might be more powerful than you ever believed. And that would mean facing a new responsibility, not running from yourself anymore. Shining sounds beautiful, but sometimes shining hurts. At some point in your story, you realized being noticed can hurt. Maybe it was that over-the-top compliment that came with pressure, or that moment you stood out and someone looked at you with envy, disdain, or jealousy. You learned early on that shining wasn't safe, that being good at something set you apart, made you a target, and that it was safer to shrink than to risk getting hurt. So you developed a quiet skill, hiding your light. You try, but not too much. You give, but never everything. Like someone dancing right at the edge, trying to be seen, but only just enough. Back then, you were just a kid who wanted to be accepted. And to survive, you figured out that being less meant feeling less pain, less brightness, less envy, less spotlight, less loneliness. Compliments still make you uncomfortable. They feel like promises you're now expected to keep. What if you can't? What if they start expecting more than you can give? That's why, even today, every time someone recognizes you, your body reacts with anxiety. It's not weakness. It's an old memory whispering, "Careful, shining can hurt." There's a quiet conflict inside you. On one side, the desire to grow, to show the world what you're capable of. On the other, a deep fear of disappointing the people who believe in you. It's like trying to run with the handbrake on, because every time you get close to something bigger, your mind whispers, barely audible, "You won't be able to hold this. They'll figure out you're not that good." That voice doesn't scream. It sabotages slowly. It convinces you to delay, traps you in perfectionism, distracts you with fake urgencies, until you start believing you really weren't ready. And if something goes wrong, there's a strange sense of relief, because at least you didn't have to show all of yourself. At least no one saw your limit. Self-sabotage often isn't fear of failure. It's fear of proving that nagging doubt inside you, right? What if I'm just a well-crafted fraud? Your self-image is cracked. You know you have talent, vision, something to offer. But part of you still believes it's only a matter of time before everything falls apart. So maybe it feels safer not to build anything at all, right? But what if you're not a fraud? What if you're just someone trying to believe in themselves after years of being told they were never enough? Shining isn't just about being admired. It also means carrying the weight of every gaze. And those eyes, they get heavy. Because with recognition comes expectation. With applause comes the, so, what's next? With every achievement, a new invisible pressure settles in. You have to keep it up. You have to do better. You have to keep proving, again and again, that you deserve to be where you are. And that can feel suffocating. Being seen means becoming a mirror for others. It means dealing with projections, fantasies, demands. It means losing some of the freedom to fail, to try, to just be. You feel like if you show all of who you are, you'll also have to live up to everything people expect from you. And maybe you just want to breathe. It's not laziness. It's not lack of ambition. It's a quiet plea for lightness, for a space where you can exist without needing to prove anything. Because being noticed changes how the world treats you. But sometimes, what you really need isn't more visibility. It's safety. It's the ability to show your light without the fear that it'll turn into a cage. And what if shining didn't mean carrying everything on your back? What if it was just about lighting up, gently, slowly, on your own terms, in your own time? Maybe you don't need to shine like a spotlight. Maybe you just need to glow, quietly, like a candle in the wind. You've spent years perfecting the art of disappearing, not because you lack talent, not because you don't want to be seen, but because every time you tried, it felt like too much. Too many eyes, too many expectations, too many versions of you being projected, none of them fully true. So you adapted. You became an expert at hiding the best parts of yourself, not out of shame, but out of survival, out of that deep, quiet fear that shining might cost more than you could bear. And now, you've gotten so good at hiding that even you forgot where your own light lives. But here's the thing, no one told you. You don't need to be ready. You don't need to be complete. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be willing to crack the door open, just a little, willing to let a small part of who you are come through, even if it's trembling, even if it feels exposed, even if it's messy and unsure. Because showing up, even in pieces, still counts as showing up. And maybe shining isn't about being brilliant. Maybe it's about being real, being whole, not perfect, being soft, even when the world taught you to be hard. You don't owe the world an extraordinary version of yourself. You owe it to yourself to stop suffocating who you already are. Because that whisper you keep trying to ignore, the one that says, try, just one more time, that's not pressure. That's you, still alive in there. And what if shining didn't mean performing? What if it just meant allowing your existence to take up space, allowing your pain to stop hiding, allowing your light to find its way through the cracks, even small ones, even scared ones, even if no one claps. Because sometimes, courage isn't loud. Sometimes it's the quiet decision to stop apologizing for existing. Because sometimes, courage isn't loud. Sometimes, it's the quiet decision to stop apologizing for existing. If something in these words felt like it saw you, maybe it's time to see yourself with a little more softness. Subscribe to keep this quiet conversation alive between you and the part of you that's ready to stop hiding.